The American dream has long been taught that each person is promised the opportunity to receive a quality education, to go to college, and to get a career, start a family, and have a home with a mortgage. Yet our nation has been changing with regard to economics, employment expectations, and the practicality of pursuing our dreams' ultimate goals in the way that we used to. These days, it would seem that going to expensive universities may no longer be a realistic goal. Instead, it is now a much more realistic path to choose a technical college or trade school instead of a four-year college or university. But why a technical college instead of a university? Well, for one, economics. It's cheaper in that there are less classes to pay for. The classes you do pay for cost less money. There's fewer books to buy. And in some cases, classes require no books at all. And if an instructor is required to list a book for the class, they tend to put out information ahead of time so the students know they don't actually need to buy the book. It's just listed there for the school's benefit. Economically speaking, you could be going to school closer to home. There's a higher chance that there are higher chances that you're going to invest the skills you gain into the local economy instead of somewhere else in the country, because you're more likely to stay where you're from or where you graduated than to go somewhere else with it. In terms of employment, experience is a large part of the education. There's hands-on learning, practical skills, and applied learning. Employers tend to prefer not to hire someone unless they have prior experience in the field. So when you come out of a four-year university with no actual job experience, it's near impossible to get hired in the field you trained for, because you need the experience to get the job, but you need the job to get the experience, and you're stuck in a catch-22. Now, in terms of job security, professions learned in technical colleges and trade schools are usually much harder to outsource to other countries. This is because they are usually jobs in the service industry, such as with automotive work, or in things like the medical field with nursing, or things like construction. You can't exactly outsource an entire building to be built out of country and then shipped across the ocean just to be brought here. You kind of have to build it in country. Now, in terms of practicality, there are time benefits. There's less time spent on getting needed education and training to get into the workforce. There's more flexible class scheduling should you need a job while getting through classes. There's more focused education for getting into relevant professions, and there's very few electives needed, if any at all. And, again, with practicality, living closer to home, you'll know your way around the town that you're going to school in because you're from there. You don't have to worry about getting lost 20,000 times trying to get to school, or if you're working while going to school, getting to a job and getting lost 20,000 times each way and still finding your way back to wherever you're staying. You could be staying with family and saving yourself money and the stress of trying to figure out where everything is, just because it's closer to home. Now, if university is still necessary to achieve your dreams, technical colleges and the job experience they provide would still give a good base to launch from later. There will be less classes to pay for, which means less time spent in the university to achieve your degree. There's better capability to afford classes, and you could have either saved up money during your time in the workforce, or, if you're smart, invested it so that you have a little bit of wealth built up to pay for classes and live off the savings. Or you could stagger those classes out and work part-time, and maybe it takes you 4 or 5 years to complete everything, but you can still afford it a lot easier than putting yourself into a mountain of debt with no job experience and be unemployable. Now, we have discussed the economic, the practical, and employability advantages of going the way of the technical college or trade school. This is in no way to say that a university is a bad idea. Universities provide a level of education that is revered for a reason. If university is required to get to the finish line of achieving our dreams, we can still do that. Eventually. It is just made more possible by staggering things out and doing so by first going to a trade school or technical college and working our way to it without ending up with a mountain of debt and be unemployable for lack of experience in our respective fields. Your desired field could also potentially be attained without ever having to go to a university if a technical college or trade school offers the necessary certificates or diplomas to reach that goal. Choosing a technical college or trade school just makes better sense. Thank you.